what has been your best investment thus far?
Wow. So I've had a lot of investments, man. I mean, from the standpoint of everybody thinks about stock market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody thinks about the idea of putting money in the market and getting things done. Um, I'm gonna answer the question two ways.
Okay.
Right? From a business standpoint, I think the best investment was going on the bank side and staying with the banks. I invested into banks.
Mm-hmm.
So I got Bank of America stock. I have Chase stock. I just recently learned that actually my Chase stock has done pretty well.
Okay.
And so because y'all buy and hold.
Yeah.
And so what I tell people out there is, what I've always said is, you buy what you know.
Okay.
So when I was a financial advisor, I say, look at your life, right? And so if you like Nike, then buy Nike.
Mm-hmm.
You go to McDonald's, you buy McDonald's.
Makes sense.
You drive a Honda Accord,
Mm-hmm.
Actually you buy Honda, right?
Mm-hmm.
You like Lexus, buy Toyota.
Mm-hmm.
So I say buy what you know, right?
Okay.
I like banks,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I bought Chase, bought Bank of America. I used to work at Wachovia back in the day, right? And so the idea is that my best investment so far on that side of the business was probably individual stocks. I say my Chase stock, truth be told.
Mm-hmm.
And then too, I kind of realized that I didn't have a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I buy what they call mutual funds. And so we can kind of go on that later on. But mutual funds, instead of, like right there, the visual on the left is that we have a bar here, right? And the bar actually, lucky enough that the bar, we got a few different pieces of alcohol. We got Ciroc, we got actually Tito's, we got 1800, we got a variety of beverages over there to kind of partake
Exactly.
in, right? That must mean that, the bartender understands that you just can't have one,
Mm-hmm.
serves alcohol. You just can't have Tito's with some people might walk in here, they want something different.
Exactly.
The mutual fund is just that bar.
Okay.
I got everything. You walk into a bar, you look at the bar,
Mm-hmm.
you see everything.
Mm-hmm.
You got a choice variety.
Yeah.
I give $10,000 to the mutual fund.
Yeah.
I get that whole variety. Instead of me buying Tito's and kind of being Tito's may sell, may not sell.
Exactly.
It's like what goes on.
Yeah.
I'm buying the basket.
Okay.
The mutual fund platform.
Okay.
So end of the day, that's my money right now is in mutual funds.
Okay.
I buy the basket now, and it's doing okay.
Okay.
That's the business side.
Mm-hmm.
The personal side, truth be told, I invested in our family, man. I invested in, I guess my kids, in this example, right? Academically. So
Okay.
one thing that happened with me
Mm-hmm.
is my mom and my dad invested into the four of us, my siblings, with going to private school.
Mm-hmm.
That's an investment, man.
Exactly.
With the Seton Hall Prep there in West Orange. So instead of me going to the public school that was local to me,
Mm-hmm.
I got my ass on a bus and went 15 miles up the road, right? Or better yet, 10 miles up the road, whatever it was. My point though is that tuition bill
Mm-hmm.
was an investment they made in me,
Okay.
same with my siblings. Fast forward me,
Mm-hmm.
Donald went to Seton Hall Prep too, right?
Mm-hmm.
From North Plainfield into West Orange is 17 miles, right?
Yeah.
Katiana goes to Mount St. Mary Academy.
Uh-huh.
That's up the mountain, but my point is, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Private school's expensive.
Yeah.
Personal side, I'm investing into my family, into them. They're the third generation of the Carters, from my perspective, right?
Exactly.
Or fourth generation of the Carters. My point is that to me, of all the investments I made,
Mm-hmm.
is the best one because I'm just mirroring what my parents did to me,
Exactly.
kind of paying it forward. That
Yeah.
makes sense?
No, it make a ton of sense. And obviously, you're into the long game.
Yeah.
You're into the long term investments,
Right.
right? And a lot of time, I could say, like, growing up in impoverished neighborhoods or so, time is one of our biggest enemies, right? So a lot of time when we should be investing in long term, we look for the short term.
Yeah.
And that what leads me to my next question, as far as people who allow people to do bank scams with their accounts, right? By you being a banker, right? What are some of the long term effects of it? Because we know from right now what we know, our short term effects are you might get scammed out of your money, you know what I'm saying? And like the person who popping your card, they might run off with your money.
Sure.
Or your bank account might get closed before the money go through. So those are short term effects, right? But what are some of the long term, if there are any long term punishments behind, things like that?
Sure. So you get blackballed by the banks, and any kind of financial institution that's out there. I mean, and when I say you can't open accounts with anybody, you can't do business as an individual. And so I understand it. I understand, I guess, why people, who are looking at a short-term transaction, but let's look at short-term, long-term, right? So short-term, I guess, is week to week, right?
Exactly.
So I give you my card, right?
Yeah.
You play the day of giving you, and you play.
Yeah.
I get back a few pennies on the money, right? And I get to buy a new pair of Jordans.
Exactly.
Right? Or a new pair of Jabot jeans. Go my story before, right?
Yeah.
If Jabot even is out anymore, right?
Yeah.
My point is, I get to buy something that's kind of short term in a week.
Exactly.
Maybe a month.
Mm-hmm.
The long term game I'm talking about though is like 6 months, 12 months.
Okay.
I mean, think about today versus last year. This time, basically.
Yeah.
A year ago it's not that far along, right?
Yeah.
But so much has happened.
Uh-huh.
What I think people do, unfortunately, is that they look at it from the standpoint of my immediate need, is to pay my light bill.
Yeah.
Pay PSE&G. PSE&G is knocking me over the head. My bill's late.
Yeah.
I got to pay the bill. The bill's $300, right?
Yeah.
Only got 100. So I got to get the float. I got to get the other 200, right? So somebody's coming to me with this opportunity, right? To just do something that's illegal.
Yeah.
And I take advantage of it, make it to kind of figure that whole thing out. What you fail to realize is that may work, that first time, but people are watching you.
Okay.
As a banker, I'm aware of that going on.
So I bust my credit card, right? I let somebody bust my credit card. After we make the transaction, get the bread, I call and I say, yo, my bank card was stolen. Whoever did that, that's a fraud. That wasn't me. And then, I get the account get flagged, get closed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I make my phone call. Are you still watching me after that? I told you that it wasn't me. I told you it got stolen.
No. So to your point, the first time, we benefited the doubt.
Yeah.
Like anybody. I think that
shit happens.
It happens, right?
Yeah.
And you want to. I want to err on the side of being, things happen in people's lives. You out, the car got stolen.
Yeah.
It wasn't you. Let's kind of get you a new card out.
Yeah.
We value your business. Let's kind of keep it going. Kind of treat you with respect and things that you deserve, right?
Okay.
Although you're lying to me, right? I'm still giving you the benefit of the doubt.
Right,
exactly. So I don't know the facts. So I'm going to go with the idea that this happens, right? Get the new card out and move forward with it, right? And you're good. But if it's a continued situation where your car gets lost every week, this happens every week, it's not going to be good. You mentioned the word flagged.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a little tick on. Of course, we saw the last transaction. Oh, your car got closed last week.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Mm-hmm.
That story goes with somebody new.
Yeah.
And then what's match the story you gave before?
Mm-hmm.
You follow me? Because everybody takes notes
on
the system, right? My point though is that to your question, I'm giving you a new card. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say we're gonna wish you well. We're gonna send you your card next day mail.
Okay.
We're gonna make you feel special about it and kind of keep it moving forward.
Now, say if I sit here after I burn you, I sit here and I go to another bank and I open up another account, and a few months later down the road, I burn them the same way, right? So now, at any point, are y'all banks communicating with each other? Like, is there a communication, or is just like I could jump around before anything really catch up to me?
So again, I can't speak for all the banks and all bankers, but I just know from my own experience, right? We, from the standpoint of Chase, B of A, Wachovia, Wells Fargo now, the big banks talk.
Okay.
Right? They communicate with each other, right? Now, so it does require some additional work to track. If Bill Smith is doing some kind of bank fraud, basically with Chase, and then Bill Smith goes to Wells Fargo and doing some kind of bank fraud, and then goes on to Capital One and it goes on to some other banks. It does require some. Besides the system intervention, it does require somebody to kind of say, "Hey, I noticed this kind of behavior."
Okay.
So it's. I would say that the reason why it's successful now is because people aren't picking up the phone and trying to figure out, hey, what do you know about this person?
Exactly.
What I do in my business is that, end of the day, I've been a banker now for about 15 years, right?
Okay.
And so in my segment of the bank, at the big banks, we all know each other, man.
Yeah.
And so if Bill Smith come to me, basically, okay, I deal with business owners versus individuals.
Okay.
So if ABC company comes to me,
mm-hmm.
they may have an account at Chase. I may have an account at some other banks.
Yeah.
And if I notice some kind of behavior that's going on with me, unofficially, I can call basically, and kind of ask around and ask questions within the bank community.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, it's these things that I do as a banker every year, every quarter, every 6 months, every year about compliance training.
Okay.
And it's this thing that I want to say called willful blindness. I can't willfully know that Bill Smith's kiting checks basically and not say anything about it.
Yeah.
I have a duty to report it.
Yeah.
And so although Bill Smith may think that, hey, well, he's a bank, he doesn't really care.
Yeah.
If I don't say anything, by default, I'm actually at fault. And I'm also...
You conspiring.
I'm conspiring to be a part of this situation when I have no skin in the game.
Exactly.
And so that's the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole bank fraud and kiting checks and all that stuff, man, long term is not a good thing, Shadi.
Yeah.
Because it negatively affects your ability to kind of grow your wealth.
Yeah.
And that's why I came into the business to help people grow their wealth.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't grow your wealth and move forward, man, if you've been blackballed by the banks.
Yeah. And that leads me to the next question, because I'm speaking because I want to know for both, for both parties, for both sides of the coin, right? So if I'm the person whose name the fraud is being done in, right? Now I did this 4-5 years ago, right? And so now, all right, that portion of my life, now I got a job. I'm ready to move forward now. Now I'm trying to get a phone in my name. I'm trying to get a car in my name. I'm trying to get an apartment in my name. I'm trying to pay off old debts. I'm trying to get a credit card. But I did a bank scam, right? I did a little bank scam. I got flagged or whatever. But now I got a job. I'm trying to move forward. How does that affect me if it does affect me at all?
Well, it's part of your profile.
Okay.
Right. So don't forget, just like on your credit record where it shows you had an account at Macy's, you had an account at Macy's, at AT&T.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to Visa, MasterCard. You have all these accounts, right? JCPenney, Best Buy, right?
Yeah.
I'm just giving you my accounts, Best Buy. So my point is that that information actually is on a record. With on part of your FICO score, right?
Okay.
Experian, TransUnion, Equifax keeps a record of all the information, right?
Yeah.
The banks have an understanding and kind of share information too. Where you have an account today. You have, so in that example, right? I assume, and let me ask you a question. I assume that transaction, although you did that whole bank fraud, when the accounts went negative, right? Did you pay the actual balances?
I just got out of there. I just left it.
You left it.
Yeah.
And so that unpaid balance basically goes from that bank to some collection agency, right?
Yeah.
That record still exists, right?
Yeah.
Under your social, under your date of birth, under your name, right?
Yeah.
So that second party who bought that debt is now pretty much still after you, right? Because that balance is still unpaid, right?
Exactly.
So I'm answering your question. At the end of the day, that debt's still there. So when you go ahead and try to figure out how to do better, to get that car to go to your new job, how to get that phone to make the calls, basically on that new job, for your kids to kind of call you at the new job, that debt's still there.
Yeah,
that debt's going to still be pretty much a boulder on you moving forward.
Yeah. And in a time and in a moment, that wasn't thought of. The thought of was getting this. Oh, all right. A nigga said he could give me back $3,500.
Right.
I need that right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But not thinking long term about when I do get over this hump, where is it going to leave me at? And that's never the thought, because the thought is always the right now. And also for the other side of the coin as well, right? Because we know, like, dudes, they're people who do it, they dress it up, make it sound real good.
Sure. Make it flashy, make it sexy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Dress it up for you. And all actuality, right? It's, I guess it's a white collar crime.
Yeah.
Because they're not stealing anything from you. You willingly giving them your card information and your PIN code.
Yeah.
So even when they even times where I guess a few of them do get jammed up, right? The punishment is so light. It's just like it's hard to. You know what I'm saying? Like I guess on the bank side, like what are banks doing to protect themselves against that?
So why you just talking to me? I realized that I got a guy in my office who's a security guy.
Yeah.
His whole job is to go around the country
Mm-hmm.
and get guys to do all that work. So basically, so you got to know that.
Yeah.
And I'm on the commercial end of the bank, right?
Yeah.
But there are security. So this how it works on the bank side.
Yeah.
So Joe Smith's account is negative, right?
Yeah.
We recognize there's going to be some kind of fraud in play.
Mm-hmm.
The account came from ABC Company. The check went to Joe Smith's account. Basically, they paid $10,000 because he pulled the money out the next day, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever it was in play. Realized the check was actually a bad check.
Mm-hmm.
The account's negative $10,000 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that $10,000 is owed basically back because it was paid out, right?
Yeah.
Plus there's fees in play because the check was bounced, right?
Yeah.
That account's happened a few times that way, so now they are aware of it.
Okay.
It goes to fraud. Fraud actually is talking to the company that got the check off of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? To say, hey, what's going on with it? They're trying to go with that company. Got to pay the debt or trying to pay that company back. But now they're not whole anymore. They're down $10,000.
Exactly.
My example, right?
Yeah.
There's a security team in play
Mm-hmm.
that's trying to figure out basically who the middle people are, right? And
Got
they follow the ATM machine.
Mm-hmm.
They follow the PIN number and the PIN card and the PIN code.
Yeah.
And they interview people, and they try to figure out what the stories are. And they pretty much. So you say white collar crime, I get it.
Yeah.
But it's still illegal.
Yeah.
You know.
It's
So
still
I know in New York they come after you.
Yeah.
I mean I'm not sure what Jersey does. In fact, I don't sit in the branch in Jersey.
Uh-huh.
But in New York, I sat in the branch basically.
Yeah.
So I know the cops will come in,
Mm-hmm.
get the ATM machine footage,
Uh-huh.
who's using the PIN codes,
Yeah.
what's going on.
And
And
they
again,
come physically get you.
They come get you.
And see what's up.
They come get you, and you're sitting down somewhere talking, trying to figure out how your story works out.
Yeah. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, they picking up their game. We in 2020.
Sure.
And these banks, they're not going to sit here and keep allowing themselves to get burnt. They're going to defend themselves.
Right.
And we see it. We see it getting more and more glorified and more. It's getting more attention now.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
From what side? So again, I know one side. I know the actual side, meaning it being illegal activity. I know
Mm-hmm.
actually the side that the bank, my employers, right, are losing money,
Yeah.
right. But I don't know help me understand. I guess from what you see, and I guess
So-
from the street, like how is it being glorified? It's happening more often, I assume.
Yeah. So first and foremost, it's happening a lot more often.
Got it.
It's more the norm right now. Back a few years ago, it was looked at as, oh, you bugging. You know what I'm saying? Or they didn't really get too much. Like they moved around in the shadows.
Got it.
But now, people who in that world, they more out front now.
Okay.
I guess you could really credit a lot of that to like the social media and all this type of things, like the Instagram and all that type of things.
Got it.
Because now that's a platform where the glitz and glamorous stuff gets highlighted.
Showing the money, showing the activity,
Yeah.
showing all the fun.
And that brings, so now you can sit there and promote it, you know what I'm saying? Yo, you want to make 25,000, you want to turn your 25 into 25,000. Like it's being ran out in the open now.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? And that's, that came a long way because, like I said, about 4 or 5 years ago, it wasn't as heavy, but now that's the leading thing right now.
That's odd, man, because actually it's kind of hard to understand. Like for me, for the bank to pay out a check, so for somebody to make $25,000, right? So say above 10K,
Yeah.
A lot goes into the review. So I mean, for me to, I guess to kind of figure out the example here,
Mm-hmm.
People are cutting checks. People are depositing, $100,000 checks in their account when they're depositing checks at 50K. I mean, because my mind it was always small. Like
Yeah.
this is from the bank perspective. This is how it works. The bank actually, you got a customer, ABC company,
Mm-hmm.
that has, a bunch of checks, right?
Yeah.
they actually one check comes in as fraud, right? But that check's like for like $900. It's like $2,000.
Yeah.
And so that comes in. The person who's doing the fraud basically gets the check, goes to the ATM machine, waits a day, I guess, whatever, and pulls the money out. It's from what we see, right?
Yeah.
Because it clears, I guess they give them a portion of the money. Instead of giving the full $2,000, they give them $400.
Yeah.
They pull the $400 out.
Yeah.
The check's learned to be fraud. So now the bank's after $400. We had a $400 which I got to figure out later on.
Yeah.
I've never seen an example where the bank has been out, $5, 10, $20,000 on a kite. It may exist, but again, I don't see that.
From what I know, it's nothing more than 10.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing more than 10. But if you got 10 customers,
then there you go. That's $100,000.
That's your $100,000 right there.
Easy math, right?
Yeah, that's
Easy
it.
math.
And so like I guess I really wanted to know like how do you also defend yourself against like when your information is stolen, right? Like so say like if I really didn't do a scam, or you know what I'm saying, somebody legit stole my card information, however they stole it through me swiping the ATM or however they stole it.
Right.
And now I'm billed for, let's say, $9,000.
Right.
Right. They done ran up a $9,000 tab, and I'm disputing all this stuff, but the banks are still giving me a hard time. They closing my account.
It's tough.
Because they gonna ping my he in Newark. A lot of bank fraud go on down there, right? Or even I did one a few years ago. So now I really did get burnt, and now the banks don't believe me, and now they holding over a debt over my head that really ain't mine. And so like I wonder like how do the dispute how do that process work on y'all, and like what is some of the things that y'all look at?
Yeah. So you got to clear your name.
Yeah.
You got to clear your name. So obviously, if it's legitimate, like anything else, if it's legitimate actual, error, right? You got to go ahead and pretty much say, hey, I'm John Smith now, and basically, this is not me, right? And kind of go through the process and kind of make sure you have proof it's not you, because at the end of the day, it's about you proving it's not you.
Exactly.
Because the bank's trying to figure out how to move. Don't think the bank. You mentioned in your example, before that one person had that $10,000 check, but the fraud just had 10 people with that situation. They got $100,000 in motion right now.
Yeah.
The bank has $1 million in motion, $2 million in motion. So the bank actually is this big system, right? And they don't really care about the individual pieces, right? But you do, because that's you, right? Exactly. But it's your job to prove your innocence in this case, and how you do it is pretty much kind of verify, hey, this is my information. I called you guys immediately that my account was compromised. Yeah. Basically my last transaction on my account was at Stop and Shop, basically, in Watchung, where I bought like some milk, some cereal, whatever, and it was like a $20 bill. Yeah. And actually, this other stuff happens. You got to prove the information in play. Yeah. And the people on the other side of the line are trained to understand that too. Okay. I would hope that my colleagues in the bank community know that everybody from Newark ain't a thief. Yeah. Because I'm from Newark, I'm not a thief. Yeah. Right. But the point is that. You got to understand that things happen in Newark, in South Orange, in Livingston, in Short Hills, in Milburn, in East Orange, and Orange, right? So you just got to be understanding that, each individual case is an individual case. And I would hope that my people in the banking community would kind of treat it as an individual case, and that, hey, this situation is not this person. Yeah. Give me the information that shows it's not you, and then pretty much wipe that debt off their name because of the fact that it's the right thing to do. Yeah. And hopefully that is the way that they're going. You know what I'm saying? And so I got another question. It'll be as far as what's a good investment to